Hi again, everybody. It's Kevin Knetza coming to you from the newsroom of The Observer and TheObserver.com on this, the 11th day of April in the year 2022. Sure hope you're enjoying your Monday, no matter where it is you are in the country. Nice, beautiful spring-like day here in the Northeast with warm temperatures coming. I can almost feel it. Ready for the warm weather. Enough with this cold weather crap. Goodbye to that. As you do every Monday, you welcome me into your home so that I can bring you this week's news. And before we get to that, I want to tell you a little bit about Genuine Smiles. This is Dr. Mina Elfar here on your screen. He's the owner of Genuine Smiles at 837 Kearney Avenue. And I'm an orthodontic nightmare, and I'm petrified of dentists. And, you know, there's something special about this guy because when I first met him and first started talking to him, I thought, he's going to be just like every other dentist, but he really isn't. Because what he does in his practice is he makes the atmosphere as such that when you go in, you are not going to be nervous and you're not going to fear the dentist the way so many people do. And that was something that he takes very, very seriously and something that he accomplishes on a daily basis at Genuine Smiles. And they've got offices also in Livingston and Hackensack. And I'm going to tell you this. If you're afraid of the dentist, when it comes to Dr. Elfar, you do not need to be afraid because they're going to treat you like you are part of their family and they are going to make you feel right at home and most importantly at peace and at ease. So if you're looking for dental work to be done, call Genuine Smiles today, 201-991-1055, 201-991-1055. It's all at Genuine Smiles at 837 Kearney Avenue in Kearney. So we'll move along now, and we'll get to this week's newspaper. So I'm going to take Dr. Elfar and his graphic off the screen and then bring to you this week's front page. And Wide Open Field is the headline, and this is because some good things are happening in Harrison. And the first thing that you need to know is that for a long, long time, they've been working on getting this field completed, the Little League field, especially in Harrison. And they finally finished everything and had a ribbon cutting on Sunday, and it was absolutely tremendous. I tell you, between Larry Bennett, councilman, Larry Kelly, the recreation director, the mayor, members of the council, and the CFO, Gabby Simoish, they did a phenomenal job of getting this project taken care of and at a reasonable cost, very little that goes to taxpayers. So I wanted to make sure to recognize that. And the mayor mentioned Gabby, especially when he was giving his speech yesterday, as did Larry Bennett. So they did a phenomenal job. These beautiful fields that are now turf fields, and they will be ready to go for the baseball season and, of course, the soccer season as well. They're multi-purpose fields. So congratulations to Larry Bennett, Larry Kelly, the mayor, and everybody in the town of Harrison for seeing this project through to fruition, especially with the delays that were caused by COVID. Unforeseen, of course, but they're done, and the fields are ready to go. And kids were playing on them already yesterday, and I'm sure before that as well. The Lyndhurst Police Department is taking part in this project where they're going to use police officers as decoys, and they will use the crosswalks to test drivers to see if they yield to pedestrians. Those crosswalks that you see with the, the yellow-colored or the greenish-colored signs in the middle of the road are not optional. Those are mandatory. You're driving and you see somebody who is about to cross, you've got to slow down and stop. And they will be using police officers to see how motorists handle that. And if you don't yield to the pedestrians, you will be fined and summoned. Now, here's the other thing. There's also this other feeling, too, though, if a car's coming very, very close to the crosswalk and you're ready to cross the street, that if you dart into the middle of the street that you have the right of way. You don't have the right to dart into oncoming traffic, but if there's a reasonable distance between the driver and the crosswalk, they're supposed to stop. But that does not mean you can just decide, oh, there's a car right there, I'm going to dart out. No, it doesn't work that way. So just as much as drivers are to be responsible, it's the same thing with pedestrians as well. The other day I was approaching one and I slowed down to a stop, and the girl was paying too much attention to her phone, and she didn't go. So I figured, all right, I'm going to go. And I went, and then, of course, she decided she was going to cross as soon as I decided to move the car. So the responsibility there, mine, more than likely, but because when you stop, it's stop and wait, not just stop and see what the heck happens. But sometimes people are too busy playing on their phones and texting and doing whatever to really realize what's going on. But in Lyndhurst, they are cracking down on this, so beware. If you're in the area and you are at one of those pedestrian walkways where you are to yield, do it. The Township of Belleville, actually it's the school board, they're looking to use the property that is owned by Eastern International College to expand and make a middle school annex. So Ron Lear has a story on that, so I hope you'll check that out. Joanne Barton has a great story about a gentleman who I won't tell you too much about, but who has a program for homeless youth, and it's mostly teenagers and young adults. And it's an epidemic in this country. It's a shame what's going on, but this guy has done some tremendous work from the West Coast in California and San Diego, where I believe he's based, to here in on the East Coast in New York City, New Jersey Shore, and things of that nature. So I hope you'll check that out. Joanne had him on his show the other day, and apparently it was a phenomenal interview. And you can hear that interview at applauseradioshow.com. Tim Wagner has this week's police blotter, and there's another instance of a stolen car that could not be chased. This guy actually rammed a police cruiser. It was a stolen Bentley SUV, and he was at the parking lot at Walmart, and he rammed the police officer. I think it was Matt Lopez. And the decision was made that even though he rammed the police cruiser, that wasn't enough to go after him. So another stolen car, another police decided they're not going to chase the guy, and another instance where the New Jersey Attorney General's directives are handcuffing police officers brutally. Cardinal Joseph Tobin, the Archbishop of Newark, has a busy schedule ahead of him this week. It is, of course, Holy Week, and he will be participating in the Chrism Mass, I believe, tonight or tomorrow at the Cathedral Basilica of the Sacred Heart. And then, of course, there is the Holy Thursday Mass of the Lord's Supper, Good Friday service, and the Easter Vigil and Easter Sunday Masses that he will also tend to as well. So if you want to see the Cardinal, it's all in person this year as opposed to the last few, so that's certainly a good thing. We have an op-ed this week from Paul LeClaire, who replies to Steve Rogers, who had one last week where he suggests that term limits are the answers. Paul LeClaire says, no, they're not. You read that on page number 6. Easter advertising supplement. So if you still haven't had a chance to make your reservations yet, you can still do so at Santani in North Arlington, Picnic in East Newark, Pete's in Harrison, Lasoni in North Arlington, and Curiosity by Intrinsic in Kearney over on Midland Avenue. So it's not too late if you still need to make some Easter plans for this week. You can still get reservations at those 5 places, and some of them are running specials, including Angelo over at La Fiamma in Harrison. He's got a price-fixed menu at $65 per head, so check that out. He's got a separate ad this week. Jason Bernstein has 3 pretty intense sports stories, including a piece on the Nutley High School baseball team, the Harrison High School softball team, and he has got an athlete of the week as well who comes from Harrison High School. I won't tell you who he is or what his sport is, because then you wouldn't pick up the paper and read it for that purpose. So I hope you'll check it out. We have been very fortunate to have Jason Bernstein on our staff as our sports reporter. We miss Jim Haig, but Jason has done a phenomenal job as our new sports reporter as well. 2 pages of classified in this week's edition of The Observer, so if you're looking for a place to live or a job or anything of that nature, we're going to have it. And don't forget, there are 8 hidden Easter eggs this week in this week's edition of The Observer in 8 separate ads. If you can identify all 8 of those businesses where the eggs are hidden, you will have a chance to win a $100 gift certificate to one of our participating advertisers here at The Observer. So don't forget to fill out the form when you get a chance this week. There are 8 of them. I hid them They're maybe not as hard as usual because Michelle is phenomenal at doing that and making it very, very hard. But hopefully you'll have a little bit of a challenge. And the form to do this is on page number 10. Fill out that form sometime and get it to us, and we'll announce the winner a week from today. So that's going to do it for this edition of the Observer Live. I want to thank each and every one of you for logging on and joining me tonight. Don't forget, we'll be back 1 week from tonight with more updates. And, of course, if anything happens during the course of the week, we will join you live as things happen. From the newsroom of The Observer and TheObserver.com, this is Kevin Knessa signing off for now, and we will see you back here 1 week from tonight at least. Good night, everybody.